Hi folks, now just before I go out and test my new headlamp aim, I just want to show you where normally the cutoff would be with this bike in its normal position in the shed facing the wall. It would usually be, oh the light's gone off, you can see my hand. It would usually be seriously just cutting off here at this mortar line. So now at this short distance the headlight's a good bit higher. Anyway, let's go out for a ride and see if it's any better. Certainly the low beam now is an awful lot higher on the road. The cutoff meters further ahead of me than it was. Meters. With this car in front of me now, I would certainly be able to see the cutoff on the ground before it reached the car. And now that's not the case. It's actually lighting up the boot. That is a big difference. This is after getting the headlight aligned as if I was going for an MOT, basically, at Fraser's of Gloucester. Thank you, folks. Thanks to Dave particularly for helping me check and adjust the light. Now, I'm not expecting miracles. It's still a pretty weedy looking, yellowy light that it's leaking out onto the road. But I get the feeling that it's going to be a big improvement over what I have been dealing with for nearly a year now. Not that I rode in the dark very often in that time, but when I did, it was unpleasant. Like I said on the video, well I think I did if I left that bit in, I'm using the D4s only if I switch to main beam. So for low beam the D4s are off. I don't think they can help the main beam and the low beam at the same time. If you've got them angled to help the high beam, even on low power, on low beam, they dazzle other drivers. I get flashed a lot. And I don't want to do that to other drivers. I wouldn't want to have that happen to myself. Let's slow down actually. Let's have a look, see if we can see where this low beam cutoff is. My God, that low beam cutoff is miles up the road. That is massive. I was going to say a night and day difference, haha. I'm not commenting on the quality of the light yet, just the cutoff really. It's much better. Just cleaning my visor. So yeah, look at that cutoff. Can you see it there? On the wall, that is hugely higher. That would have been, if you can see it, probably just beyond the white line in the middle of that road, that cutoff before, at this distance. Oh yeah, while I'm here, let's try and test the main beams and see where the D4s are pointing. Oh, that's a bit high for the D4s. Let's bring them down a bit. Sorry, you can't see much, probably. That's the badger. So yeah, I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record because I'm really out here just testing one thing. And that's the low beam and what the effect is now when I switch between the high beam with the D4s and the low beam by itself. And it's looking very promising, very promising. I'm not being plunged into complete darkness anymore like I was before the adjustment. Anyway, more repeating myself coming up as I find some proper dark roads. Wow, that's bright for a flash, isn't it? Woo! I am doing the prescribed limit with the low beam, and I couldn't do that before. You couldn't do any more than 40. It was too sketchy. So yeah, I can now change this conversation from the low beam is rubbish to the low beam was badly aimed from the factory. On that same bit of Joe Casual I was just on, one evening a few months ago, I had to go from main beam to dipped. And because I couldn't see where I was going, basically, because the dip beam was aiming too low, I nearly rode into the central reservation as the road naturally went round a bend. And I was doing about 50, and I couldn't see the bend coming up. I had to jump on the brakes and then turn sharply left. That's how bad the low beam was aimed. But it's still not great. It's not an excellent headlight by any means, but it's not a liability anymore. So yeah, the cutoff is infinitely better now, infinitely further ahead. Well, maybe more than 2 times further ahead than it was before. Am I going to get flashed? Didn't get flashed, this is good. Am I going to get flashed? No, so far so good. No flashes. Now let's go to main beam. Oh, now let's take it off main beam. That's good. That is good. It's not instant fill your pants. Right, let's get it on high beam again. The high beam with the D4s are just, it's magnificent. It's as good as everybody said. Now let's go to low beam. Yeah, and because of that cutoff so far ahead, I can still see at 60. At just over 60 to be fair. I can see where I'm going. I'm not panicking. That's a game changer. It's still not brilliant, but it's still a big improvement over what was happening before. Especially with cat's eyes. I'm here doing 60 and I don't really need the main beam. I mean, it'll be nice and I'll put it on once that car kind of disappears out of view. Oosh! Oh my gosh. That main beam is just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, that's some night into day stuff right there. It's still lighting up the road quite a lot just in front of the front wheel. It's not as dazzling now that I've aimed the D4s higher because they're not trying to do dip beam work. Well, I do kind of wish that it wasn't quite so bright right in front of me. I think you'll just get used to it, you'll ignore it eventually. But on lighter stretches of tarmac at night, that'll be quite dazzling, I think. Let's turn the main beams off. Let's have a little look. Nope, not panicking. Not panicking. I love it. At last. I'm not disappointed anymore. Or, you know, extremely concerned when I have to switch from mains to dipped. I had a 2021 Volkswagen Golf hire car the other day, and that still had halogen headlights, not LEDs, and basically it was a lot like this. The beam was at a reasonable, you know, respectable height, and I got the yellowy beam just like I've got now on the bike. We're at kind of okay car levels of lighting now. It's such a massive relief. This low beam issue was the main reason I spent hundreds of pounds on the Denali kit and the D4s. But yeah, now I've seen the D4s doing their main beam thing, I would not want to take them off. Let's turn the mains off once I get round the bend. Yeah, it's a big drop, but it's still manageable. That's actually better than what I was managing with the D4s on 20% in their kind of dipped configuration while I was still being flashed by oncoming cars. You can see maybe ahead of me the cutoff is just above the wall. There's a brick wall in the distance. So I'm going to switch to mains when this traffic has passed by and we'll see the difference. Oh my god, look what it's doing to the trees. That's outrageous. That is very reassuring, that amount of light coming from a motorbike. Again, the GoPro's not going to make it clear, but I got this Ford in front of me, Ford something or other, and from what I can tell, my low beam is every bit as good as their low beam. Like I said, it's just now behaving like it should do. No more, no less. I shouldn't be this excited about a headlight that works properly. I would advise all owners of R1200s and R1250Rs who are disappointed with their low beam performance to get the headlamp alignment checked. Make sure it's not too low, because although the output of the light is still kind of rather meagre, it's game changing the amount of confidence it's given me now riding at night. Guys, and girls. I'm not far from home now, so I'll see you in another video soon. Ta-da!